acknowledgers, I am Diamond Sade. I'm the host, curator, 2-time world petty champ of knowledge and pettiness. And I have an amazing guest with me here today, and I absolutely stand her. And I couldn't think of a better person to just come on here and just showcase this Black girl magic that is taking over this whole thing we call the universe. So let me say this correctly, Dr. Dr. Jones. Would you tell us a little bit about you, what you do, all of that groovy stuff?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. So as you said, I am Dr. Amber Johnson. I am from Mississippi. I went to 3 HBCUs, majored in computer science for my bachelor's, master's, and my Ph.D. Yeah. Okay, so we just gonna take a little minute for you to go ahead and flex on us real quick, because not only is my Black girl magic a PhD, a doctor, she's the first one out of Purdue. Yeah, yes, I finished my PhD in 2019. I think it's been 2 years. And I became the first Black woman to earn a PhD in computer science from Purdue, which Purdue is actually the first computer science program in the country. So it's that's where it originated from.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I found out from Jeopardy.
This is why I had to have you on here.
Also, I wasn't watching Jeopardy. Somebody actually just sent it to me. I was like, oh, okay. Oh,
true. Right. What is Purdue?
Right.
I saw your story on one of these social media outlets, and I was just like, man, this is who we are. We're just thriving and creating opportunities everywhere, and I just wanted to, as someone who's interested in getting her PhD and becoming a doctor, I wanted to understand that dynamic with being one of one. And I have an engineering background, so I'm used to being in spaces where I'm the only Black woman in this classroom, the only Black woman at my job in this field, but paving the way for others comes with this heaviness. So I just wanted to understand your journey and what inspired you to say, hey, I'm about to be this PhD, I'm about to do this shit, and just learn more about your story, because I just think it's really dope and powerful.
I didn't choose any of that. I ain't choose that life that chose me. No, it was really people pouring into me. I was able to finish my PhD, to even know what a PhD was, from mentors, family, people pouring into me, being in different environments. For instance, I was a college athlete. So my summers were spent training, and I didn't do internships. I didn't do an internship until my last year in college. And it was a research internship at Mississippi Valley State University. And I was working on bioinformatics. And up until that time, I've heard of PhDs. I had professors we called doctor, but I don't think I really understood what that meant. So I wasn't even thinking about a PhD. So Dr. Charles Bland, who was my mentor at the time at Valley, poured so much into me. He, took time with me. We were working on a research project, and he would meet me over the weekend at McAllister's and coffee shops to answer questions that I had. So it was really that nurturing. And so I knew I wanted to get a master's, and he encouraged me to apply to the LS-MAP program at Jackson State. Fast forward, I applied, get in, and that program is super awesome. They pay for your master's. They give you a nice stipend. And, you do a study abroad. They make sure you do an internship over the summer, and they prepare you. It's the bridge to the doctorate. They prepare you for the PhD. And so you meet, people in different fields. You go to conferences, and all these things were new to me. The environment that I grew up in, as well as, being an athlete, I didn't have, the exposure. I didn't have the access to all of these things. So really having people who have been there, who saw something in me, I got to where I am now. And then as far as getting to Purdue and becoming the first Black woman to earn a PhD in CS, that I didn't necessarily choose that. I got to Purdue because while at Jackson State, somebody came up to me. They knew I wanted to get a PhD and said, "You want a free trip to Purdue?" And I said, "Yep." And so she's like, all right, bet I'm gonna put your name down. And at the time, Purdue had a program called the HBI program where they would fly out underrepresented students from HBCUs and other universities to stay 2 days, tour the campus, meet people in the department they want to work in, meet students, just go to different events, and they waive your application fee. And really, I mean, it was awesome. The trip was dope, but the fact that they were going to waive that application fee, the application fees would be like $70, $80. Some of them were like $100. So
yes, crazy.
Yeah. So I go to Purdue, and actually, I told my folks, I was like, yeah, I'm going to Purdue. My grandma was like, Purdue? Where is that? And I was like, I actually didn't even know where Purdue was. I had to look it up. And so, I met with the department chair, and the fact that the department chair took time to spend, to meet with me, and I wasn't even a student at the time, just meant so much to me. And it said a lot about who he is. And so, I go on and I apply. And I apply for a job and I pray about it. And I'm like, Lord, whatever you want me to do, let me know. Like, make sure I know that it's you. So the job gets back to me, and the job is like, hey, you did awesome. We're going to find you a place. Just hold on. So Purdue gets back and is like, hey, you've been accepted. And then I get a call from this fellowship that's like, hey, you're one of our, like, we're going to give you the fellowship. I'm like, what? Then the job calls back and is like, oh, sorry, we can't find a place for you right now. And I was like, okay, God, got you. I'm going to Purdue. So when I say that I chose none of this, I think it was all a part of, just trusting and believing and just listening to the Lord and just having, God just put people on my path that really, saw something in me that I definitely didn't see in myself.
Honestly, that's really dope as hell. Because I feel like the moments in my life where I knew it was God, it was like I had nothing. I could have no credit associated with the outcome. And it's easy for us, like, well, for me, let me talk about me. It's easy for me to, like, when I do something, I see the output, I'm like, oh, thank you, God. But like the moments where it's like, yo, I have no idea how this just happened. Those moments are crazy. And dang, that's dope as hell.
No, I definitely know. I mean, I know people that, have said to me before, you did this. And I know God gives us gifts and God gives us, discernment and the ability to do things. But ultimately that all points back to God. Like, it's still, I can't help but give God the glory throughout. I mean, just even look, I can even go back to the internship out of undergrad. I hadn't done an internship, and I don't know why these people chose me. I don't know. I remember sitting there at AutoZone Corporate, and I'm like, okay, I got the internship. So I'm sitting there with the other interns, and their parents are like VPs, and they're talking about their vacation homes in Jamaica, and I'm like, yeah, all right, like, yeah. So I remember praying about this, and I was like, I hadn't left the country before, and I wanted to study abroad. I knew I wanted my master's paid for. I didn't know how. And I wrote all these things down, what I wanted to accomplish in 5 years. And when I tell you every last one of those things happened, like the Lord made all of those things happen. And when I say I did not pay $1, I paid for a graduation, like for regalia, cap and gown. That was it throughout my entire time in school.
Bruh, man, my old job finessed the hell out of me out of paying for my master's. So, bruh. Yeah, I see them.
I'm sorry about that. Sorry.
Yeah, bruh, like they can catch a fade right now. No. OG Bobby Johnson. Like right now. So like growing up, like were you the first like tech IT person in your family? Like what made you choose comp sci? Because it's like I had never heard of that shit till I got to college.
Yeah, actually got a master's at Jackson State in computer science. And she I guess I don't know if it was, maybe it's just what I saw that what you see, the representation is there. But she majored in computer science, and she went on to be a Java developer, a large a Fortune 500 company, and she's now started a nonprofit. But she, I remember her showing me something in her textbook, and I was like, I don't know what this means. So I was just like, all right, yeah. And I started like playing my game or doing whatever I was doing in the car. And so she's about 7 or 8 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And so then I have an aunt who's also in IT at AT&T for many years. And this was a time when, there weren't many women and definitely weren't a lot of Black people in that space. I didn't know this at the time, but I just said that to say, like, it was in the family, whether I knew it or not. Yeah. As far as that goes. But when I majored in computer science, my mama was like, you need to major in computer science to make some money. I was like, all right, yeah, whatever, Mom. And I looked, so like, normally I'd be like, all right, yeah, okay. And I looked into it and I was like, yo, this kind of dope. Like, my whole life, I've always broken things. She gonna find out now. But I used to break everything, like the VCR, I would take it apart, DVD player. I broke so many computers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I was curious. I wanted to see how it worked. And then also I got my first computer when I was 4 years old. And this was a time where like computers it wasn't a common thing to have a computer in the household. And so this was like the beginning of that. And this guy comes over, he sets it up, and he teaches my mom, shows her how to use it. He leaves, she forgets everything. Well, I was watching. And so I'm like sneaking in and like playing on the computer. And at the time you had to boot the operating system, meaning you couldn't just turn it on and boom, it goes to, you put in your password. Yeah. You had to actually type in, like, you get like a command line screen, the terminal, and you have to type MS-DOS. And that's the way you had to. So I kind of remembered and taught myself all these things. And so it was kind of like I was always interested in gadgets. I didn't want to, I wanted like dolls or whatever, or the playhouse, but I wanted a Tonka truck, and I wanted, I wanted like engineering type things. I wanted to build stuff. I didn't want to, the Easy Bake Oven, that was dope. Because I could create with that, but I also wanted to create like, physical things. So yeah, I was always like just very curious about how things work.
That's because I would think with that you would look more towards engineering.
Yeah. So I think they kind of go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And I like building with my hands. I was also interested in like the system and how things work. But also I started at Purdue College, which is not an engineering school. So our computer science department was about 10 people, 10 students. Like my class, super ghost. Yeah, well, nobody in that mud. So I didn't, and then I went on to transfer to Lemoyne College, which is very similar to Tougaloo in Memphis. Mm-hmm. And my computer science department was 20 people, maybe. So very, very small. So then fast forward, I go to Jackson State is bigger. Then Purdue is like all of those times like 15. So I didn't start out at schools. Like I didn't have an engineering school. I kind of, I guess, I probably would have majored in computer science anyway, but I took what I had.
Yeah. Yeah. So HBCUs for your undergrad and your master's, was it like a cultural shock to be at Purdue then for your PhD?
So I'm a bit of a social butterfly. Like I never really meet a stranger. And I'm from Mississippi. So like all those things. I'm an extrovert. Like I'm like, hey everybody, let's talk, let's play. But going to Purdue, I grew up in a predominantly Black community. I went to a Black elementary school, middle school, high school, went to Black colleges, went to a Black church. I got Black parents. You're like Black. When I got to Purdue, it wasn't a culture shock. So I thought. I didn't realize until or two later. Because I talk to people. As long as I have a ball, I can hoop, I can talk to people, I can eat good food, I'm good. So, it was really, really isolating. Definitely appreciated Black culture a whole lot more being there because I didn't have it in front of me like I usually did. And so finding community could be really tough, especially within my department. I had friends across campus and we would get together and we would cook Sunday dinner and we would have kickbacks and all that. But it's still different when you can't, you don't have a default study group. You don't have to, if you can work in groups, you don't have anybody you can look to and, kind of eye and go, all right, that's us. No, it's just you. So a culture shock in that sense, in that the community, which is super important to me, wasn't there at first.
Yeah, that's how it was undergrad, because I went to Rolla, our Missouri S&T, and given there were other, I think our campus total was like 8,000 people. And out of those 8,000, at that time, it was maybe like 300 to 400 Black people. So like, it went from real small to small as hell when it got to like class time. And there were opportunities for me to like work with other people across departments, but I found the in-class interactions most polarizing than like the study time, because I could find my own little pockets. But in class, them boys did not want to work with me. They was like I talk about this example a lot, but in one of our physics labs, it was boys like getting together in like groups of 3 and 4 when you're supposed to power off in 2s, because they didn't want to work with me. And like, that was my first time like, oh, I'm in the same school with y'all. Like, I'm here.
No, that's real. I mean, it's almost like, you know, like you have to prove yourself, or somebody will see that you can do it or see the value in you. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, you're good. You know, instead of just seeing you as another student. And I think coming up, I was always the only girl. I was always playing two-hand touch football with the boys and climbing trees and like just doing. So I heard that a lot as a kid, like, this for girls. You can't do that. You know, even grown people saying girls don't do this. Girls don't whistle. Girls don't. And I was always like, but why? Like I didn't understand why I couldn't whistle. Like, yes, I was whistling. What do you mean? So I think, you know, if you really think back over those things, different experiences, they kind of prepare you and teach you how to deal with it. It doesn't necessarily hurt any less, but it doesn't affect you as much. So I mean, I had an experience where when I first got to Purdue, I was supposed to work in a group with this girl, and I'm gonna do it by myself. And I was like, oh, okay. And that could have been, that was like the best thing that could have happened, because beside me was another girl, and I don't know if she heard it. I've never asked her. I don't know if she heard the conversation or what, but she asked me if I wanted to work for her, and I was like, sure. And she ended up being one of my really, really good friends who she and I leaned on each other and supported each other so much. And she was a couple of years ahead of me. And so I was like, you know, just sometimes, you know, it builds character, it builds strength. But then, you know, some of those same people will come back and see you and go, wow, I didn't know, you know, you had this in you. And if you really think about it, had you not been rejected, you may not have known you had that in you.
True. Yeah, that's very true. I like how you put that. Because I think, like, for me, at that time, I just took that experience and was just like, damn, like, I've never been like, I'm rejected, but it felt So it was just like, I think I shrank in that moment.
Yeah.
I did.
Embarrassing, your feelings hurt. You want to cry. You tear. You ain't gonna let them see you cry, but the back of your throat hurting and it's feeling dry. You like, I know. Yeah. I know. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Acknowledge that and keep going. Cause you know, one of the things I learned in grad school was how to cry.
Oof.
Because the girl did not know how to cry. That sounds crazy, but like, it wasn't no crying in my house. You got a whooping and you was crying. It wasn't no like, you know. And so learning how to go through different the emotions, because I'm playful. I play all the time. I'm dang near never serious. So, you know, feeling, or, you know, my feelings being hurt, feeling embarrassed. It was like, what? Oh, okay, I'm good. Like, I was like, oh, okay, I'm tired of being mad. I'm tired of being, I'm tired of being sad. Like, all right, I'm good now. And that's not like, you know, emotional maturity.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. I promise you. Ain't nothing made me cry harder than calculus.
Oh, look, Cal 2.
Sade.
It was Cal 2 for me.
That's the only one I passed the first time, because I'm not spatial. Cal 1 and Cal 3, I cried. Cal 2 and Diffie Q, the only classes I passed the first time around.
Nah.
I cried, like real tears, like Lee Williams type shit, like cried. That's interesting though, because I never looked how I learned to cry, because I think we are all in one way or another told like that. And even when we get whoopings, it's that, shut up or I give you something to cry for.
Right. I'm having
last 5 minutes.
I'm having a mini panic attack. You're in the middle of me. You want me to. So basically what I just did was ran up a hill as fast as I could, got to the top, and you told me to stop breathing hard. What? Right. No, make it make sense, Ma. Make it make sense.
Right. Yeah, like, I could definitely say engineering definitely helped me like understand that there's more emotions than like happy, mad, and ready to fight.
Because ready to fight is an emotion.
It's different from mad. Like, it's different.
That's funny. Well, you actually just put all them together, because usually somebody ready. Well, depending on the person, because you could be crying.
True.
And ready to fight. Like, so that's like, you just put, that's like all of the above. Yeah.
It's all of them. So, okay. So when it comes to, I may be skipping, but so when it comes to your Kidult brand, did you use that as an outlet, or how did that even come about?
Okay, so boom. No, I'm just kidding. Big kid, that's one. So the word Kidult is kid and adult. And I'm like, yes, that's me. I'm a Kidult. And I knew I wanted to do something with this. So I like started work. And so months later, I graduate, and I think I was talking to my husband, and I was like, said you wanted to start this, so go ahead and do it. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And but really the conversation was around, I'm at Purdue. I had been doing a lot of that and doing different interviews, and people would ask me, how did you get through? Like, what was it like? And I was myself. But no, so I started the Kidult Life, after doing some reflecting, and I was completely myself at Purdue. Like, there was no code switching. There was no trying to fit in or trying to conform to that environment. I was just me. And I even remember the moment where I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. Like, if there was a chance for me to code switch or change anything, I wasn't going to do it. I was like, nah. And somebody made a comment about my hair, and I was like, but no. So I started after finishing my Ph.D. and, realizing I was completely myself. I, didn't do any code switching. I didn't kind of conform. I just brought my entire self into that environment. And I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing, because I legit don't know how to be anything else but myself. Yeah. And, there's a stereotype about computer scientists, and that we are, we stare at computer screens all day. Well, I am the opposite of that. I am very social. So even my first day into the department, I walked in like, hey y'all, how y'all doing? I just did a lot of things from what was usually seen in an environment. Yeah. And so my second year, my aunt passed away from COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And we were super, super close. So I fast forward, I wanted to do something with COPD, ended up being encouraged to reach out to this organization at Purdue. And they loved the idea that I had. It was like, we want you over here. Other things I was like, Lord, I don't know how I'm gonna get data. I don't know how I'm gonna get doctors. I don't know what I'm gonna do. They were like, we got it. Yes, Lord. Okay. And we established this amazing relationship, do some amazing work with it. And that's what I did my dissertation in. But I found out later that our department had been trying to do work with this organization for years. And, to get students over and do different things. And even within the department, making connections with people. And the professor told me like, yo, you didn't know that this was happening, but this is what you've done and what this can potentially create for students that come after you. Along with, I didn't realize it. So, of course, at the time, and then I was also the president of the graduate student board in computer science. And while I was president, we created several events and, kind of many initiatives like a peer mentoring program, a social power hour where people present their research and kind of, network within the department. And I introduced these things because I didn't have community. Like, I didn't have anybody to talk to. So, but in turn, like, it helped other people because other people were feeling the same way. And so, you know, imagine if I had gone there and was like, nobody looks like me. Nobody sounds like me. I'm going to just put my head down, do my work and leave. How would that have gone? I would have been miserable. And that impact would have been there. And I truly believe God gives us gifts for a reason, and it's to use our gifts. And if you are not being yourself, you are not operating in your gifts. So you're not doing what God made you to do. And, you know, your gifts, I think people try to figure them out, and that's fine. I don't really know how that works, but whatever is in you, like when you're trying to hide those things that are good, when you're not being yourself, giving the full value that God created you. So I was thinking, like, you know, as kids, we do whatever. We're fearless, we're curious, we try whatever. And then at some point we lose it. I'm like, why can't we be like kids? Like, kids gonna be kids. I don't care where they are. They will embarrass you in the store. They will ask all the questions. And so that's where the Kidult Life came from. Like, be who you are no matter where you are.
I love it.
So, are you interested in changing your career, changing the trajectory of your life? Then you need to check out my website at diamondwilliams.me so I can help you with career coaching, mindset change, and of course, resume revisions. Let me help you flourish. Let me help you get what you need. Let me help you get what you want. I got you. Check me out. Knowledge and Pettiness has the tea on tea. So what is Big Black Tea? Launched in October 2020 during COVID-19, Big Black Tea, a Guy brand, is one of the hottest tea brands in the world, brought to you by Guy, one of the hottest lifestyle brands in the world right now. So why Big Black Tea? Big Black Tea's mission is to ensure that every member of the community and the world has a warm cup of tea to help them heal and recover and find a moment of euphoria. Influencers and leaders such as the CEO of LinkedIn, Melinda Hart, diversity and inclusion activists, and venture capitalists are some of the few leaders who are sipping the tea. So where can you purchase Big Black Tea? At bigblacktea.com. Make sure you use that referral code knowledge.
Because I can say that I did and it got to this point where I kind of proverbial hit a wall, where it's like, okay, the diamond from 401 on down is this way. And when I'm at work, it's like, hey, make sure I don't color my hair this certain way. My nails gotta look this way. Just all these things to just make myself more palatable to them, to the majority culture. And that's what helped me launch Knowledge and Pettiness, due to feeling like, okay, in this space, I gotta be this person. But who I really am is this petty, awesome person that I think I am.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of having to separate them.
Yep.
So that's really dope. How did you how did you combat just even that feeling of switching up to be something different? Because I don't know, maybe it's just me or what, but I felt so like I had to almost switch it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think a part of it is my personality. I always ask questions. I'm not why? Mostly because I couldn't really have that many whys in my house. One was one too many, right? So, I always ask questions. So you're not just gonna tell me something and I go, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna ask questions okay, why did Jesus weep? You're not just gonna be oh, we can say Jesus wept and bless our food. Jesus did not weep because we're about to eat. So why are we saying this? I'm asking these kind of questions. So as far as being myself, I do not want to have to remember who to be in a situation. So if I am, if I take this Amber to work, I got to remember to be this Amber every time I go to work, every time I have a conversation with somebody. I got to remember to enunciate in this way. I got to remember, no, you get what you get. I have a Southern accent. It's going to come out. There's some words that I say that don't sound, but did you understand? Did you understand what I said? Okay, good. So, yeah. But I also think there's you have to know who you are. And that takes time with, think about it. We spend a lot of time with our parents and with heavy influences. adults, and we don't turn 18 or go off to college and it clicks off. Like there's no switch. It takes time to look for things and take time to understand some things that you were taught, because what you're taught isn't necessarily the right way or the best way. Because think about the people who are teaching you have also been impacted by society, their experiences, and so I just really getting to know who you are, spending time alone, friend. I think a lot of that helped. But I also, like, if it doesn't make sense to me, and I'm like, if I talk like this, is it gonna sound different? Like, is it anything gonna be different about this? Is there any value? If I, act like I'm not upset about something because I don't want to be the angry Black woman. Look, I'm mad. I don't care nothing about you. I remember I went to a cookout and I brought watermelon. And all the Black folks was like, yo, I can't believe you brought watermelon. Like, yo, you really... I said, bro, like, what's that about? Like, watermelon is delicious.
Right.
I'm not about to not bring or eat watermelon because of this.
Yeah.
So guess who ate watermelon? Me. I don't care nothing about it. Like, so it's like, I get some things that we think about. I get some things that, you don't want to do for face or whatever it is. And that's fine. Like, there's no judgment, but for yourself, just really think about why you're moving the way that you're moving. So, going into a space where you're like, I'm me and I pop off and you can get these hands, like, that is not acceptable in this space. Because think about it, when you're talking to elders, when you're talking to your coworkers, to your friends, you are a different person in each one of those spaces. Yeah. Whether you realize it or not. You don't talk to your parents the same way you talk to your homegirl. So it's just about being comfortable, whatever that is. You are comfortable with your friends, comfortable at work. Be yourself at work within the boundaries of whatever work is. If they say you can't have purple hair, then you chose. Now they make a rule after you have purple hair, we have some issues. But like, yeah, I remember somebody tried to correct me because I said, I was at a friend's house. This was when I first got to Indiana. He was like, I said, where the foil at? He said, what? What are you saying? I said, the foil. He was like, what? The silver stuff that you wrap up paper foil. I said,
nah, it's foil.
So where the foil at? So at some point, he actually understood what I said before I just said it the way he was trying to get me to say foil. Sir, what a foil is. Like, and that was for his own, like, he wanted me. No, you heard me, you understood me. That made no sense for us to go through that. Now let me wrap my food up. So
on the cool.
Right. So just, being yourself and it's so liberating, especially when you realize how much of yourself you've been hiding.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I think I'm in that space now where I see me being my authentic self is getting me way further. Mm-hmm. And it's more liberating. Like, you can do so much when you're free. Like,
listen, because you don't realize the stress that goes along with you feeling like, because think about how much energy you have to put into, let me make sure I enunciate this in the way that, like, to sound like everybody else. Let me make sure I giggle a little bit. I'm not laughing at your joke if it ain't funny. I'm sorry. I mean, this I'm not like attitude-ish or anything, but I know how much energy you have to. I remember one of my friends was like, yo, you don't care. Like, somebody would be like, hey, you want to go skating with us Friday? It'll be Sunday. The previous week, I'd be like, nah. And they'd be like, yo, like, you don't need to tell people, like, maybe. I was like, I know I don't want to go Friday. I thought about this. I'm not going to think all week of an excuse to tell you why I'm not coming. I know right now today. So that way, you ain't planning your outfit around me. You ain't planning no, I ain't going. I don't want to. Like, that's not mean. I just honest. Like, know, think about how much energy I would have had to put into that week. Every day I'm like, dang, what I'm gonna tell? I ain't got no gas, girl. I'll pick you up. I ain't got nothing to wear. Oh, I just got a gift card. Come go shopping with me. Like, there's a solution. And think about how much energy you have put into not just being honest. And the same thing goes for walking in life. Just, how much energy you put into trying to make sure you're fitting into conforming to the environment. Take that same energy.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be more like you when I grow up.
Girl, I ain't grown up. What are you talking about?
Girl, I hate the let down work. I do these false gestures so much. I be like, yeah, girl, oh my God, I'm gonna call you back, knowing I'm never gonna do it.
No.
Or I be like, oh yeah, we could get together. Cause I don't know. Maybe that's some.
Girl, my friend. So my friends and I are so honest though. We like this is how me and my friends go on the phone. It's like, okay, bye. We're tired of talking. I mean, it's not like a rude. It's like, okay, all right, I'm gonna talk to you later. Okay, bye. And we're like, okay. Like we don't. I mean, cause it's especially definitely should be able to be yourself. At work or it's you maneuver. I get it. Like nothing's wrong with that. But in your comfort zone, husband, like yo, dog, look, don't come to me 5 years later like, oh, I don't like taking out trash. Now I'm you should tell me that year one. You should tell me that. Right. I'll be open the doors if you don't plan on open the doors when we 97. Okay.
Thanks.
Like I need you to be straight up with me.
Nah, on the cool. Like it. Don't bring no representative.
Listen. My godmother told him, she met him, she said, look, what you see, this what you get. This ain't no rep. This is her, okay? She ain't sitting nobody ahead of her, okay?
Right.
Don't think I'm in J's and a warm up today and in 6 months you're gonna be like, oh babe, can you put on some heels? Nope. You know what you married.
Right.
You know what it is, cuz.
Like you will get this crossover regardless.
Hello. Yes. And do.
No, that's awesome. I love seeing people who themselves. Like I remember my roommate in college. Her name was Ashley. Hey Ashley. But she was just her. And I think that was my first time ever seeing somebody just be them no matter what. And she was very direct like you. And ironically, she in comp sci too.
I was gonna say, anyway, that sounds like my little sister. Like that sounds like my little sister. Okay, that's not her. Okay.
Maybe that's the cheat code. Comp sci is where your person.
We don't have time. We optimize everything. We don't have time. No.
Yo. Yeah, she was like the first. I was just like, damn. I want to be like her. Not like, you know what I'm saying? Not like...
No, I have a friend who also said the same thing. Like she said, when we first became friends, she was like, it used to get on my nerves that you were so honest. She was like, but she realized that it was because she didn't feel like she could do it.
Yeah.
And she really admired that. And I was like, yo, you can... Especially, I can't stress this enough, especially with your friends in your comfort zone. If you can't be comfortable in your relationships, then where?
Yeah. That's true.
I know one of my friends, so this is kind of inside thing, but one of my friends, most of my friends, we kind of just click. Like we've always known each other and we could have met 2 weeks ago. But yeah. One of my friends, I remember telling her, so I found out I had ADHD when I was at Purdue. But before I found out I had ADHD, I was like, yo, Brooke, sometimes I just feel like when people are talking, it's so hard for me to stay focused. And in my head, I'd be like, hurry up. And so she was like, oh my gosh, me too. So from then on, and it wasn't like we decided on this. Ever since then, we both, if we are taking too long to get to a point where somebody else is doing so, we'll look at each other. Or if we're in conversation with each other, we'll be like, hurry up. And we'll start laughing. I'll be like, oh, my bad. Let me get to the point. So,
that's crazy. I do the same thing.
Yeah, in my head, I'll be like, oh my gosh, she said this. But...
Yes, I'm like, get to the point, please.
Yep.
Beginning, middle, end, that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to start doing it. Because I think my face shows my emotions. I get a lot of feedback about that, right? But when people start going on like these tangents, baby, like I know my face gotta be looking like me.
Well, maybe we need to get those. Maybe we need to turn see so I can know if I'm like, all right, okay, I got you.
Like I can feel my face doing it. Just be like, nigga. And it like some people, maybe they just don't have like emotional intelligence or whatever, but they'll just keep talking. And I know my face is like, nigga, shut up. Like, please shut up. Like, please. Oh my God. Yeah, that's dope that you have friends that allow you to accept you.
No, yeah, I get what you mean. Mm-hmm.
That's really dope because I feel like we go through all these different phases and it's like, is this version of me still accepted like that version?
You know, when you get to a certain age or a certain level of, I don't know, maturity, I don't know what it is, growth in your life, on your journey, the people that are around you, like, they, at least in my experience, have some very, caring people in my life that want to grow with me. They want to see me grow. They want to grow. And it's no faking the funk, like, at all. Yeah, I have some of my friends are hilarious. They are intelligent, and they check me. They check me if like, all right, okay, what you doing? Or, why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you walking in what you told me you had a dream about? Or, so just having that kind of environment is, I can't even put a word on it. I don't know what I would do without it.
Yeah, no, it's hella important. Like, I'm thankful as I am. Like, that's all I ever wanted.
You gotta have a petty crew. You got to.
Girl. Okay. Like, that is my love language. Being petty.
Well, mine is food, but yeah, sure.
Ooh. Food is a close second. You right. Food is definitely a close second. So, where do you see, like, Kidult being next?
Everywhere. I think the Kidult Life is a lifestyle brand. So right now it's apparel, but I see it growing into so much more, into a community, because it's essentially like, there's several parts. So be who you are no matter where you are. The whole idea of authenticity, doing the things that you love. Think about, there's no guidelines to adulting. And when you get old enough, you start to realize that the grown people are actually that grown. They seem way growner. Because you listen to your folks. Yeah, you listen to your folks and you be like, so you was just trying stuff? Like, so y'all actually didn't know what y'all was doing. So it's that whole aspect, that adulting part of it. And then I've met so many people who are, my age, younger, older, who are like, wow, the Kidult Life is me. I watch cartoons. I eat cereal. They just live life. Because we put all these restrictions of, okay, you're 18 now, you got to do it. What? Says who? Yeah. You can't wear this, or you have to, it's some things that you should do. There's some things that you got to pay tax. You're grown, you got a job, you got to pay taxes. You need health insurance. You need to, like, there's some responsible. And so I'm not talking about being childish in that way. And when I say childish, I don't mean like actual childish, like, but just keeping the, like, who are you? What do you want to do? What do you like? So I definitely see just a community growing from it, and just beyond apparel. I have some other things in mind, some other things that I'm working on. So I'm super excited about, where that'll go.
Yeah, it seems like, it's not even seeming, it's eliminating that, like, after we become quote unquote adults, we gotta be this like stoic, facade of a person. And like our truest self is our child self.
Yep.
For sure. Like, I think like even from a biblical standpoint, like it's more of an emphasis on thing. And that could be a reach, whatever. But like, when I think about it, it's just like, that's where our essential self is our child self.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I remember, that scripture jumping out, at me even a couple of months ago, and twist scripture to fit any kind of narrative. But I think, what God was saying with, be childlike and, not being in this like, oh, you know it all, or you have to do it all, but understanding that God is all, and we lean on Him, and then keeping like the childlike spirit of being curious, being trying new things, adventurous, because think about it, even when you think about the word, you can read the Bible back and forth. Like, it's the Bible itself, the words are not going to change. But every time you read scripture, something different happens. You are transformed. There's something, the Lord gives you a different message. And so imagine if we are reading the word and we're just reading just to be reading. Like, we're not getting anything from that, but like, as children, like being adventurous and trying to get a deeper understanding, trying to, grow and learn from that. That's how you grow in your faith. That's how you become more mature spiritually. So, yeah, I don't think that was a reach at all.
I appreciate that. 1 point for me today. Out here,
you got all the points.
Oh.
What you talking about?
And look, I'm
the ultimate affirmation. Come on, the African proverb.
Yes.
Affirmation. African American proverb number 57. I'm trying to get like you, man. I'm trying to get like you.
Facts. Like, I'm trying to be like you, man.
Nah, you got it.
No, but I really appreciate you just like spending this time and telling your story and being absolutely you and absolutely fearless. Like, it's really, really dope. And I'm personally like, scratch podcast and scratch Instagram. I'm personally inspired by you. Like, for real, because once I get this damn PhD that somebody gonna pay for, that's not coming out of my pocket. I receive that.
You definitely shouldn't pay for that PhD. There's so much stuff out here. But like, I appreciate you. I always pray that whatever I'm doing, wherever I am, that somebody will always see the Lord, working through me. And, that I pray this dang near every day. And for you to say that you're inspired by me, inspired by my story, I know that the Lord is working through me. So thank you so much.
No, girl, thank you for just being you. Like, yeah, like I can tell you, as soon as I saw that post with your pic, I was like, nigga, what? I'm getting my PhD, nigga. Like, I thought about comp sci, but I'm like, nah, I think MIS, because I really wanna like get into like the human interactions, like AI, all of that. I would really, just because like what keeps me up at night is don't nobody look like us programming that shit. Like, that's what keeps me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's on a very small scale, and hopefully, we definitely need some more Black women working in this space. But I know I have a really good friend who is doing some amazing work in AI, and she talks about these very issues of just how the data is biased, how the data, it's biased. It just doesn't represent all of us. And even looking at Zoom, looking at all these different platforms we're using, and the lighting, just as simple as the lighting and how it doesn't recognize how, so in voice recognition, you having a Southern accent, you being from different parts of the world. So if that's what you want to do, whatever you want to do, but definitely, you can always reach out to me if I know anyone who have any questions. Definitely here to help in any way. So I commend you for like seeing that problem and wanting to be a part of the solution.
No, I thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah,
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
For real.
Black
women. Yes. This is what we're here for. Okay. To boost each other. Yeah, that stuff scares me because when I was doing my research for my master's, I had like hinted on it because I did my research in data quality. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold the phone. So yeah, like I definitely want to I see myself getting in that space more, to look at like maybe just what does it look like to have equal representation in like even the algorithms and all that shit that's and the data behind those algorithms, all that shit is skewed because reality shows like predominantly white people in these spaces. So it's catered towards that demographic.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it drives me crazy. I'm like, you know how long it took for Apple to get emojis that even represent our shade? Like,
girl,
why? Why?
Yes. we still don't have the hair right, but we moving towards hope.
Yeah, rinky-dink Facebook quizzes. I'm so tired of my next phase in life becoming a white woman to get married.
Oh oh my God. I've never taken any of those, child, and I sound like I don't need to be taking them anyway.
I take them for fun, but it's like, I remember before I got really into data, like, not that I took it as law or nothing like that, but I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But literally everyone that I've taken, any future, whatever Facebook proposed my future is, it's always becoming a white woman to get a family, a house, a body. And I'm just like, wow, why have I never seen a black woman in any of these things? And that's supposed to be fun.
It's traumatic.
Right. Some bleach, like, what's up? Like, I don't know what to do. But yeah. So that's where I see myself getting into some with data quality and some with it.
Yeah, I think that's dope. Like, yeah, for sure. If you need anything from me, if any way I can help, just let me know.
But if I don't, because I heard PhDs ain't no hope. So
no, there ain't no type of joke. No, that's why people ask me like, why'd you get a PhD? I'm like, cause Jesus said, go get the PhD. I don't know what your story is. I don't know. I can't say, hey, encourage people to get a PhD. No, because it was the Lord. And I know it was the Lord and that was it. So he ain't told me nothing about you. If you do, I'll let you know. But for real, people ask like, oh, what made you want to get a PhD? It was, don't get me wrong, it was the programs, it was the exposure, but the decision was Jesus. The Holy Spirit said, go to Purdue. And I said, okay. So when I was there and I was like, they gonna kick me out this program. I was like, oh no, but God, you sent me here, so you gonna have to do, bam. I'm gonna need you to come through with and he did. So yeah,
come through.
Listen, so, but yeah, I it's not. It definitely isn't. And making sure you have mentors, making sure you have, just having a community and family, friends. People who think PhD is dope, that's great. You need different types of support. People who are like, you're so smart and wow, you're gonna be doctor and you're gonna like, that's great. You do need that. You also need people that understand what you're going through. Yeah. Because in the time where you like, that I'm proud of you ain't gonna help you through this, this research or this. And then it's not to knock that, because like I said, that is very important as well. But definitely having the people that should be like, look, let me tell you about these folks in this research group. Let me tell you about, people to study with and all that stuff. So I definitely understand it.
Well, I appreciate you, honey. And I look forward to us connecting more. And,
for sure.
Maybe we could Kidult mash up one day. I'm just saying.
Listen, let's make it happen.
I'm here for it.
This has been another episode of Knowledge and Pettiness, where we are full of knowledge yet equally petty. Thanks for listening.